This is Lorelia coming to you today. I wanted to change the direction of the stream, but I guess I can't. But today I wanted to do a video on the death of short-term rentals, at least here in my local market. So, right now we're in a time and space where for the past couple of years, I want to say since about 2019 and 2020, short-term rentals has been the hottest thing in the real estate market. But my video today is to really inform you about be very careful of taking short-term rental advice that seems to give you advice across the board, because when it comes to short-term rentals, it really just depends on your jurisdiction. So let me give you an example of what I mean. So here in my local market in New Jersey, came across an article about the city of Newark. Newark is one of the largest cities here in New Jersey, that they were cracking down on short-term rentals. And when they say crack down, the short-term rental law, at least in that particular city, has been in place since 2019, but they have made some amendments. And one of the amendments has to do with one, registering your short-term rental investment property, but the guidelines that they have in place were a bit stringent. And some of the guidelines were as such, um, no longer can you have a multi-family dwelling. Now let me just give you some context, because every major city is different. But in the metropolitan area and in the city of Newark, New Jersey, multiple um, dwellings are common. And what do I mean by multiple dwellings? Because I know there's going to be people who are going to watch this video and they're going to be from different parts of the country. Well, here in New Jersey, we have things that are called two family, three families, four families. And what that means is that the city is now saying that if you own a particular property, um, and you want to use it as a short-term rental, it cannot be a multifamily. So one, you can't own a particular property and say, hey, I want to use these particular apartments as a short-term rental. Can't do that. So that's off the table. So you cannot be a hey, how you doing, Lazar? You cannot be a real estate investor who owns a multifamily in the city of New Jersey and then want to rent a unit out for as a short-term rental. The only way that you can have a be an investor and own a short-term rental in the city of Newark, New Jersey, is it has to be a single family, and you have to live there. How I mean, like, that's so creepy. So let me understand this. I have to, in order for me to be a short-term investor in the city of Newark, New Jersey, I have to live in the home. It has to be my primary home, and I have to live in that particular dwelling. That's a bit egregious. That's why I said, ladies and gentlemen, the death of short-term rentals. It is very important and very imperative that you know the laws and the rules of the particular jurisdiction that you're in. Another thing they've added, what is common in that particular city, is condominiums. If there is a homeowner association that governs the condo or townhouse community, you cannot be you cannot use it as a short-term rental once again. So that eliminates investors who own multifamilies, which is very common in that particular city. You can't own a condo unless you live in it, but then that's off the table because if it's governed by a homeowner association, that's off the table. So that only leaves you being a single family, um, you being a single family um, owner, and you'll have the ability to rent rooms out and get additional income. So you pretty much have the city and the government giving you the wherewithal of how you can generate income with your short-term rental. So you have to be very careful of taking blanket advice when it comes to when it comes to okay, I think I hit that. Okay. Yeah, okay. Deleted those messages. You have to be very careful when it comes to taking blanket advice within anything that has to do with real estate, investing in general, especially if it is an investment that's geared geographically. Because remember, I said those rules were put in place for the city of Newark. Doesn't mean that there are not other cities or towns within the state where the laws can be a bit different. Those were just the rules of the city of Newark. So when I titled this video, The Death of Short-Term Rentals, what other places throughout the country are egregious rules being put in place for real estate investors? Because like I said, I find that now, not that it's not any single family homes within the city, that there are some single family homes, but a large portion of the homes that are in that particular city, if you're not familiar with the landscape of New Jersey, at least in that particular city, are multifamilies. So you can be a multifamily homeowner, investor. You may not live there, but now you don't even have the ability to rent it out as a short-term rental. Now, one may say, well, it really depends, because I've heard some of the short-term rental experts say, well, it depends on how many days you rent it out. Or no, the city of Newark is saying it's not even on the table. It's not even something to consider. If you do not live there and it's not a single family, you can't even rent out a portion of the multifamily. So you can't own a three family and say, okay, I'm going to use my first floor or my second floor or my third floor as as an area of the home to rent out. It's not even on the table. Not even on the table. So that's why I said, the death of short-term rentals. Now, of course, I think this has a lot to do with the lobbies of the hospitality, hotel, and hospitality industry. Because when short-term rentals first came out, the hospitality industry was under attack because it was a big disruption. And now, with that disruption, it really put a panic, or gave a panic, to the hotel and the hospitality industry. Because even, and this is another thing the article pointed out, even with short-term rentals in the state of New Jersey, they still have to pay hospitality taxes and all this other stuff. So you as an Airbnb user, there are still taxes that you still have to pay. So once again, is that the death of the short-term rental market? Now I know there's always workarounds. Those who are experts in the industry. I don't claim to be an expert. I just read an article and found it very strange that there were so many restrictions put in place. It was almost as if the only segment of individuals that they wanted to um, take advantage or at least leverage the short-term rental space were really individuals who owned a home, primarily. Thank you, Nick 32. Thank you for that. So if you're a short-term rental investor or a real estate investor, I would love to know your thoughts. What are the rules in the city or the towns that you're currently investing in? Have they made any changes? You know, um, the city of Newark, that article that was put out, is saying that they pretty much have a task force that they are, hey, how you doing, Jaden 168? There is a task force that they are putting in place to make sure that they are able to crack down on short-term rental investors. Like I said, it's a bit egregious. It's a bit egregious. That's why I wanted to come on today and just give my musings of, like I said, I saw the article and I said, you know what, let me do a quick YouTube live on this particular topic. So, hey, how you doing, Danny Grimshaw? Thanks for joining me. I know, YouTube, it takes a while before they push it out. And I'm pretty much wrapping up, but I was talking about short-term rentals for those who, are just coming on and have an interest in real estate or short-term rental. The conversation, make sure you go back and watch the replay, but pretty much talking about some rules that were put in place in a city in the state of New Jersey. And I was talking about the city of Newark, New Jersey is the largest city in the state. It's not the state capital, but it is the largest city in the state. And I was pretty much talking about how they put some very egregious rules. Yes, it is, Mr. B. Yes, it is. um, so like I said, would love to know your thoughts. That this is not a hair tutorial video, just because I see a lot of people talking about hair and stuff. On my particular channel, I do not discuss hair. We talk about real estate financing, business financing, credit as such. Which is the country that defeat? Okay, I have no idea. Thank you, Mr. B. Thank you so much. Um, it's interesting that YouTube is like pushing us out to some interesting things. I mean, interesting people. Like, what is this about? I normally don't, do lives from my telephone anymore, but when I want to discuss little quick matters like this. Oh, thank you, Danny Grimshaw, watching from England. What time is it there? It's 3 o'clock here. Is is it morning? Are you all 12 hours ahead of us or behind us? It's Monday. Is it Monday where you're at? Is it 3 a.m.? I'm interested to know. Oh, so you're ahead of us, and it is Monday. Okay, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 hours. I thought it was more than that. Okay, because I know California is 4 hours. Monday, yes. Okay, okay. Well, thanks for joining me, Danny. Are you a real estate investor in England? Just curious how many real estate investors we have watching. How many real estate investors? I know there's a bit of a delay. Not sure. Okay. All right. Yes, in central London. Okay. What type of investor are you? Are you a buy and hold investor? I don't want to assume, but maybe the terminology is the same, meaning do you own a particular dwelling and you're the landlord and you rent it out, or do you do fix and flips? How does that work over there in London? Curious to know. I know there's a delay. Curious to know. Anyone else on that's a real estate investor? Yes, landlord. Okay, for 3 rentals, but letting agency operated. Okay, okay. All right, that's great. That's great. All right. So, do you do any short term rentals, Danny? Or do you just have permanent people who live there? Any short term rentals? Well, I know it's a bit of delay, but for those who was watching or who will watch the replay, as I mentioned, this video is about, the death of short-term rentals, at least here in New Jersey, giving insight on some recent rules that were put in place for short-term rental investors, and giving caution to people that a lot of times we listen to advice on the internet and we think it's blanket advice, and a lot of times when it comes to real estate, real estate is never just no blanket advice, because everything differs from state to state, and even within the state, jurisdiction from jurisdiction, county to county, city to city, state to state. The list goes on and on and on. So you always want to be careful when you are taking advice online. But once again, this is Lorelia. If you're new to my channel, not new to YouTube, I have over 900 videos on the topic of business financing, real estate financing, credit, and real estate. So this is what I talk about on this channel. If that is a topic that interests you, please continue to tune in, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell so you will know when I am coming on. So once again, this is Lorelia, and I'm signing off. Thank you for those who did watch and who stayed on, and those who have been commenting. So thank you so much. Have a great day.